This morning, concerns for a young female Iranian athlete after she competed without wearing a hijab. Elnaz Rekabi, a prominent rock climber, took part in a competition in South Korea this weekend.
We brought you this story yesterday of this courageous Iranian athlete. After Rekabi arrived back in Tehran, huge crowds chanted Elnaz Glamaran, translating to Elnaz Hero. The crowds cheer her on as she is driven away in a van with tinted windows. State media interviewed Rekabi upon arrival. She repeated the talking points that were in her Instagram story, which critics have said appeared to have been written under duress. If you are just learning this and you are unaware of why this is such a humongous moment, we get you caught up here.
The hijab has been a focus of recent extraordinary protests in Iran, sparked by the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, who was detained by the morality police for breaching the dress code. She died 3 days later. Women across Iran have protested by cutting their hair and appearing in public with their heads uncovered.
Previously, Rekabi has worn the mandatory hijab. At the IFSC Asian Championships in Seoul, she was seen competing without it.
This is a women revolution. This is Iran revolution.
This follows athletes using their platform to support the protests. The Iran national team, gearing up for the World Cup, played a friendly against Senegal. They covered the country's crest on their kits prior to kickoff. We have shown activist, journalist, and author Masih Alinejad previously when we have discussed the protests in Iran and the intersection of sports and politics. However, she says Elnaz Rekabi's actions are quite clear.
It was one of the most peaceful acts of civil disobedience. She refused to wear forced hijab in support of many teenagers, young women in Iran who are getting killed just because of showing their hair. She was so brave. What happened to her after she refused wearing hijab, she became a hero. Millions of people were like seeing her as a role model. So that scares the regime.
One day prior, Elnaz's brother, Daoud Rekabi, seen here, gave a quote that many perceived as covering for his sister when he said she was wearing a headband and was not trying to defy the hijab rules.
Report says that then her brother was hostage. The government took her brother to convince her to go back to Iran. So what you read actually through her Instagram, we call it forced confession.
According to independent Iranian news outlet Iran Wire, Daoud was summoned and arrested by IRGC intelligence at the request of the head of the National Olympic Committee of Iran. Daoud is one of Iran's men's rock climbing champions. After her defiance, the BBC Persian service, which has extensive contacts within Iran despite being banned from operating there, quoted an unnamed informed source who described Iranian officials as seizing both Rekabi's mobile phone and passport. Other Iranian athletes who have competed without headscarves in the past have spoken about being pressured to issue false confessions for Iranian state television, and some people believe Rekabi was likely forced to speak to Iranian state TV and apologize.
Do you believe she's safe?
Now, not only me, millions of Iranians, they're worried for her safety, because we don't know what the government is going to do to her. We know that killing, torturing, jailing people for just showing their hair or expressing themselves, it's in the DNA of the Islamic Republic.
Via Iran Wire once more, their reporting indicates that sources at the airport said Elnaz would be transferred directly from the airport to Evin Prison. As we know, Evin Prison saw a massive fire that killed 8 prisoners recently. Their source also said that if Elnaz Rekabi surrendered herself to the embassy of the Islamic Republic, she would have no way to escape. We know what the embassies of the Islamic Republic do. They will take her directly to the airport and return her to Iran. According to Iran Wire, Rekabi became the first Iranian woman to win a medal at the sports World Championships, she finished 4th in South Korea.